going on, Lunatic Fringe? Folks, I want to talk to you about USTD. I just did my part. I voted yes. Here's what I wanted to say to you. For years, over 3 years now, the validators, the people who you entrust with your delegations, they've been voting for you. And I want you to ask yourself an honest question before you go in and you start doing this. Have they done anything good for you? Now, this is the chart. So let me explain just a little bit about my opinion about what happened. This was the collapse, okay? Now, of course, it was way up there at the time. That Luna chain has now been moved over and migrated to the Luna framework over here. So when you look at it from this context, you go up here and you can see like this is where Terra Luna originally started to take off. It's on the Luna brand, not the LUNC brand. LUNC brand just kind of starts right here. Now, we know what happened. Here's what happened. In my opinion, okay, we got a bunch of degens like you and me, people who, we see something like this and we say, you know what, this is a risk that I'm willing to take. I think there's some upside opportunity for it, right? Then we got this big move over here and we saw a bunch of people cashing out and crashing out. And that was the degen army. Then what was left over were degens that bought right in this range here who thought to themselves, this thing's going to go back to $119 once it started to pump, or it's going to go back to $1 or a penny, or, pick a number. And that didn't happen. It continued to dump back down, okay? Because the speculative portion was over. Now, we've had 3 big speculative portions that have happened since then, okay? 3, only 3. Now, take those out of the equation, and Terra Luna Classic is an absolute flatline, okay? Now, we know that proposal after proposal after proposal to build and expand this bridge has broken down at every given step. We also know who the validators are that vote down all of these initiatives every single time. You have people, let me give you an example here. I don't want to just say that. You have people like Jesus is Lord, multiple times have just done anything they can to stop the layer 1 from growing, okay? Now, that's not because they're a villain. That's not because they're evil. It's because they don't believe in this growth. I've told you before, this is a cottage industry. Number one, if they're not cashing out every single month the Luna Classic that they earn from validating, then they're just using it to increase their market share so that they have more power to control what's going on. I hope that makes sense to you. Also, going down here, we've got No with Veto, which is Greenpeace. Now, Greenpeace did not have this kind of sway and power for a long time, but in having it now, they are wanting to stop the growth of the chain. They don't want things like decentralized and fully automated yield-bearing stablecoin on the Terra Classic blockchain. Now, also, let me just say that people like as you go down this list, you're going to find some familiar names, okay? You're going to find like DJ Trev and people like that who just do not believe that this is the right thing to do, that maybe if it was on L2, maybe if it was some kind of additional aspect to the chain that's not on the L1, that it would still be something that's viable. But let me tell you where that opinion is. That opinion is right here. You see this? The bottom, okay? That is where it is. Now, you can disagree with me because I'm giving you my opinion, but you can't disagree with your eyes. Show me where forcing this thing to not grow has worked out. That's all you ever have to do. So what I'm saying to you is that we have 6 hours left. We have a couple hours. By the time you see this, the voting is probably going to be close to over. So if you have a bag of Terra Luna Classic, I'm going to implore you that maybe at this point you should vote yes, okay? You should buck the system. And anybody who votes no, in my opinion, unless you disagree with me entirely and you just want to see this thing throttled and continue to be down here, okay? And let me also remind you, I don't hold a lot. It's not going to matter to me, okay? I have a little over, I want to say 20 million Luna Classic. I'm not a massive whale, okay? So what happens here is not inconsequential to me, but I have $1,100 in Terra Luna Classic. That's it. It's not that big a deal, okay? It is a big deal to me because I want to see it grow, because I've invested my time, my effort, my energy to you guys, to tell you every day what's going on Terra Luna Classic. I don't have an ulterior motive in that regard. Now, I do have a sponsorship with Terra Casino and Terraport. I might also add, Terraport has voted yes. We haven't seen Terra Casino weigh in. I suspect they're going to vote yes. I don't know for sure. In fact, when looking through here, they may have voted no for all I know, or abstained or something like that. No, that they have not. Okay. Anyway, and Stakely, by the way, Stakely, who I think we said yesterday normally doesn't vote, they have abstained. And I want to point that out. This is an important vote. So now the question is, really, there's 6 hours left. What's going to happen? Is all nodes going to step in, and are they going to save this chain? And by the way, I say that it's hyperbole. All right. I want you to know that it's really hyperbole when I say something like that. Like, I don't think that it dies in the darkness if this does not pass. Okay. I don't think the chain dies. I just don't think we get a pump. Okay. I think that we're going to flatline, and maybe next bull run or the bull run after that, that's when something will start to happen. That is my opinion. It's not dead, but who's going to trade here? There's nothing to do. The stable coin, yield bearing stable coin, gives you an opportunity that you do not currently have to improve the traffic onto the chain. And the question is, well, why would people come here for this yield bearing thing if it's no better than any other one? And that is a fair question. So, but we can't create a system in which we can incentivize people to come over here unless it exists. And it's going to be subject to governance, what the yield is. If we want to burn less tokens in order to incentivize people to maybe stake over here and earn a significant yield, like we have to do that as governance. I mean, you've kind of solved a few of the problems. Now, if we don't get mass adoption, and if it costs you some USTC in the process because USTC starts to dump because people start to move over into this, there are risks that are associated. But the result of no risk right now is right here. Now, let me also, just to be clear, here's Bitcoin pumping its eyes out, okay? Pumping its brain out, going absolutely nuts. Here's Ethereum, which has not performed incredibly well, but just recently hit an all-time high. Now let's take out the all-time high of Terra Luna Classic. Let's take out the all-time high of $119, and let's just focus on 306, because that's the top. You tell me, is anything that these guys are voting on and doing working? Now, here's the funny thing, okay? I'm gonna tell you this because I'm the person here that's honest with you guys, okay? But I'm honest in my opinion of what I think, okay? I'm out here telling you every day what I believe to be the case, okay? Some of these people agree with me, some of these people don't. I don't care whether they agree with me or not. What I care about is telling you what I think. And in this regard, they have failed dramatically. And when I say that, remember, I'm talking about Happy Caddy Crypto, who I think has voted against the betterment of the chain. Not that he's not a builder on it, but he's voted against the betterment of it. And the betterment of it for me does include a steering committee to give it direction. It includes some type of centralized leadership that we could vote on every 90 days, that we could set up security protocols and guards to prevent any sort of untoward movement that still requires a vote. Something more active. We need more. We need more. There's no life here on the chain. What are we voting on right now? We're voting on maybe. We're either going to pump or we're not going to pump. Okay. That's maybe what we're voting on right now. Okay. But there are 3 proposals up right now. Re-enable legacy contract query execution and proposal to upgrade to Cosmos 0.53. Okay. And those are going through. It looks like they're going to pass with flying colors so far. The one where we have the struggle right here is the outgrowing. Now, by the way, everybody here is scared. These guys, when I tell you this, again, I have 20 million in LUNC. I'm not scared. These guys earn a lot of money off of this process. They earn money every month, which is paid to them in LUNC, and then they have to decide what to do with it. Okay. They earn more. Some of these guys earn more in LUNC in a month than I have total. So, if you're making $1,000 a month as a validator, which, by the way, you can come over here and you can see exactly how much they're making. This does. There's a spot here where it tells you exactly what they're making in fee every month. Like you can investigate it, and you can. I think it's in the validators right here. I think you can actually figure it out. Fees. There we go. All nodes is making $6,400 a month. So every month they're either staking more or they're dumping on you. Just FYI. LUNC Live is making $664 a month. KuCoin, $1,600 per month. Orion, $647 a month. AutoStake, $6,000 a month. Okay, so some of these guys, and they're paying their bills, by the way. They're not doing this for free. They're paying their bills. So they're bleeding this chain dry unless they're, restaking, revalidating for a move into the future. Okay, so there are some people who are making a pretty good amount of money. Jesus is Lord, $700 on one, and Jesus is Lord, $377 on the other. But remember, until people started to pull, until people started to wake up and understand what was going on here, they were much higher. But here's where it gets interesting. What they needed was they needed somebody to help them to try to stop any progress. So where did the money go? There you go. There you go. Okay. And we can see this every single day. So what is happening right now? Jesus is Lord most likely is validating with Greenpeace because it helps him, because they've already made their vote. Now, this is where you manipulate it and you get the no's coming in. Now, let me show you something, and I don't know what you think, but I'm going to show you what your voting says. Now, this is David. He's been the spokesperson for this project since the beginning. All right. To give you an idea of what's going on so far, these are the votes. Okay. 55.24% of people are voting yes. 8.8% are voting no, with veto 35.6%. Now let's see what that means. This right here, you should be incredibly alarmed. And I'm just being honest with you. And I'm not trying to scare you in any way. I'm just trying to show you right here. Jesus is Lord. What did Jesus is Lord vote? He voted no. Okay. 99.23% of the delegators for Jesus is Lord voted yes. Let that sink in. Jesus is Lord 2 voted no. 91.7% of the validators, or the delegators in Jesus is Lord, they voted yes. They are voting against their interest because Jesus is Lord is trying to stifle them. Now, let's move on, because Zero Fee and USTC airdrop validator voted no, but their delegators, 70%, 67% of their validators voted yes. Natawa voted no, 39% of theirs voted yes. You know what? I think that one, we can give them a pass because they are clearly not wanting that sort of progress on the chain. And that is, by the way, you look at it right now, only 40% of their validators. Okay. Burn It All voted no. None of their validators, none of their delegators voted no. Think about that for just a moment. Just think about it. Okay. Hexagon voted no. And by the way, you're validating with these people. Okay. Hexagon voted no. 96% of their validators voted yes. LUNC Classic DAO voted no, and 78% of their people voted yes. So when I tell you that these guys are working against you, I'm bringing the receipts. I'm bringing you the receipts on what's going on. Okay? They are taking your money every month and they are using it to prevent you from making money. And if you don't like that, point to the spot on the chart where I'm wrong. Okay? I always say that. I continue to say that. I hope that you understand what I'm saying when I say it. Okay? I don't know what's going to happen here at the end of this vote, but I just gave you the summarized breakdown. Okay? If you have been validating with Jesus is Lord 1 or 2, and you think that this should pass, you have given him the ability to stab you in the back and steal money from you. Every month, he sucks out the fees that he earns from this pool, from this entire chain, and I don't know what he's doing with it. Continuing to increase his position, continuing to increase his share, but I know one thing. He's stifling your ability to make profit because he's doing the things that work against the chain, in my opinion. And in 99% of the opinions of the people who are validating with him. Hexagon, Terra Luna Classic DAO, they're all doing it. They're all voting against your better interest. Now, you got a decision to make. Are you going to vote? Are you going to vote yes? Are you going to vote no? What are you going to do? And if you find out that your validator voted no to something that you know in your heart is going to pump your bag and pump your chart, what are you going to do? Because let me go back and let me show you this one more time in case you missed it. They are moving their delegations around in order to help manipulate the vote. What do the kids say? Full stop. They are manipulating you. And if you don't see it, shame on you too. Burned 700 million over the last 7 days. We won't get into the rest of this, but use terracasino.io, use terraport.finance. If you want to sign up to this channel, sign up to this channel. Every day, we're going to bring you Terra Luna Classic content. There are things that are working here. There are games. There are things that we're going to build on. But without the stablecoin here to produce yield and to make it look like a real chain with real people and not a clown show, what do we have? You tell me. Again, just show me on the chart where I'm wrong about any of it. All right? It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.